Hello, fellow fellows and fellow educators. This is Diamond Emerald bringing you another gem, good vibes, education, and motivation. Happy Black History Month. I hope you've seen a couple of my posts about Black History Month and honoring the great legacy of African Americans in this country. And I hope you've done something to celebrate because it's almost over, but don't fret. It doesn't matter if you're still doing Black History Month celebrations during this next week. We actually, in my school, finished a huge project. So the kids started their Black History Month project before the break, because in New York City, we have that February break, and they're continuing next week. We're not breaking any rules. It actually goes more to the thought that Black history should be celebrated every day, not just one day of the week. So even if you think you are late, don't worry, continue to celebrate Black history as you go into Women's History Month. Maybe you even combine them like we did one year and did a Black History Month project. That's what we did during quarantine last year. And there's a video on my page that explains how I created that project based on some key principles and best practices. I'm going to share with you briefly my Black History Month tribute. As all good teachers, when we want our kids to do something, we give them exemplars or examples of exactly what we want them to do. So I created this very basic, and I'm telling you that, and I'm told my kids that, a very basic presentation of what I wanted them to do. And so, as we know, I use the acronym Black, and that post is also, that post is also, poster has also been uploaded. So I'll go back and there it is right there, right? So this is also posted in my school. So I actually got to create this poster, not just to create engagement and demonstrate to my kids what I wanted them to do, but it also became the Black History Month poster that's exhibited in the hallways of my school. And so the acronym that we're using is B stands for beauty, L stands for love, A stands for advocacy, C stands for creativity, and K stands for knowledge. We use these lovely books by Vashti Harrison, or Vashti Harrison, or Vashti. I'm not sure how she pronounces it, but I love the name regardless. And kids had access to these books and other books that my school purchased on behalf of just encouraging the Black history, multicultural library, if you will. And so kids spent time with these books. That was our first assignment, to just pick 3 people that they think, or events, because we had a book about the Tulsa Massacre, that they could research for Black History Month. It had to be creative and fun. They're getting graded on that. If it's boring, they can't get a 4. And it needs to be well researched, and they need to explain what they're doing well. So like I said, I went through this example. My Black History Month example was Black Parade by Beyonce. I also wanted to demonstrate that you don't have to do a person, that you can actually do rich analytical work on a specific song, an album, a verse, even a book cover. One of my kids did beautiful covers, a beautiful project comparing the covers of The Help. There's a book cover that was different in the UK than it was in America. So I'm giving them an example of the type of research that I wanted them to do. Also keeping in mind that this is limited. It's just a PowerPoint presentation and a Kahoot at the end. I expect them to do a little bit more, but at the bare minimum, I want to know that they have access to this project. I announced, pay attention, there will be a Kahoot game at the end of this presentation. That's one of the requirements. They have to show that the class learned something. So I'm showing them how I am showing that the class is going to learn something. Then we just get into some facts. Reference The Lion King. To engage the students, I asked them, who saw The Lion King? Who saw the live action version? If I had more time, I might even have the kids explain what the plot of The Lion King was. I asked them who Beyonce played in The Lion King. And if they didn't know, I would tell them. That's a part of my presentation. I included this fact, right? And this is a fact that's important. It's bolded. It also comes up in the Kahoot game because I'm referencing Black is King, which I loved. If you haven't checked it out, please do that. I mentioned this Grammy win, right? And my research that I found. I'm also mentioning this in the Kahoot game so they know what that is. I can even ask them, do you know what a Grammy is? Do you know anyone else that won a Grammy? And other people who did presentations, it's now a connection to the Grammy artists that they may be featuring, like Stevie Wonder. So now we're going into some of the lyrics. So there's a video this video that's embedded plays the lyrics. I want them to include multimedia in their presentation. That was on the rubric because we could have been virtual by now and we could be virtual later, but I need them to still be engaged with the technology. So I played this video. I'm not going to play it now, just, copyright and stuff, but I go through the lyrics. And I even started out my presentation rapping the lyrics. I said, I'm going back to the South. I'm going back, where my roots ain't watered down. growing like a bob tree of life on fertile ground. Ancestors put me on game, gold charm, go on charm on gold chains with my ocean energy. Yep, drip all on me. Ankara dusty key print. Hold up, don't I smell like such a non-chopper imprint? Okay, I had to stop somewhere because I would do the whole song. So I go in there and explain, let them see some of the lyrics, right? Then I analyze some of what she's doing in the song. So I also want them to be including content creators. Hi, she looks familiar. I don't know if you know, I hope you've already seen it. I made this gem as soon as Black and King came out and explained all the reasons why you should be teaching on it and to combat some of the negative criticism that I was seeing online. I'm a content creator. I'm an advocate. I'm an intellectual. I have degrees in these subject matters, right? In performance studies and African-American studies. And I'm I'm part of the Beehive. So I could speak about these issues and how I incorporate them into my classroom because I'm an educator like the rest of you. So I played part of this in my classroom. I found a spot that was relevant and I played this video to also let them know that they shouldn't just include maybe the music itself, include a historian, include someone who's talking about the content as well. So there's that. I played a little bit more of that video and I talked for that specific one. I'm going to the next slide. Then I talk about the acronym, just like I want them to do. And I want to be specific about this part because an interesting teaching point came up in my classroom. I recorded it. I'm probably not going to actually put it online, but let me explain to you what happened. So I'm going through the acronym. Black is King, Black Parade. We're referencing Africa all the time. Africa is beautiful. I got these images, just posted them up there. I could have made this much better. Please don't judge me. But I'm saying this is something simple that they could have done. I also wanted to give them access. Someone mentioned in the classroom, after I say Black is beautiful, there's resorts, there's beaches of Mombasa, I've been there, all these things. Those are just a few places, right? Then my eye starts to twitch because I'm getting irritated that someone is trying to negate that Africa is beautiful. And I asked that question, are you trying to say that Africa is beautiful? No, those are just a few places. Exactly. And I reference, if you go to New York, there's some places that are disgusting and garbage and trash. You go to other new places in New York, there are places that are beautiful with skyscrapers and resorts and beautiful buildings and houses. That doesn't mean that all of New York is beautiful or all of New York is ugly, right? There's aspects of it. What I was expressing to them is that stereotypically in our country, our view of Africa is that it is dirty, it is poor, it is nothing, it is worthless, it is, wasteful, it is disgusting, it is poverty, it is living in huts, right? We don't see the beauty of Africa. And so as I was explaining this and going back and forth, like the student even tried to not argue back because I don't want to put that label on him, right? He was speaking back, right? My co-teacher, luckily, I love him, right? Chimed in and said, like, have you ever been to Africa? Like, we've been to Africa plenty of more times than you have. So like, don't even go there and try to negate that Africa is beautiful. Then you don't know what you're talking about. And I mentioned to him as, a student who is Black, right? That I needed him to be on Team Black. I needed him to understand that recognizing that Africa is beautiful is also recognizing that you, beautiful Black man, are beautiful as well. And that when other people see you, I don't want them to see the negative stereotypes of Africa. And I mentioned this, when you see a homeless person on the train, I don't want you to think, oh, he's dirty, he's horrible, he's Black, those dirty Africans. I don't want you to make that connection. When I want people to look at him and to look at us, I want them to see our kingdom and all of our humanity, because that's what's most important. And then I asked if he understood that. And he said, yes. I said, I want you to be that righteous Black king that you are. And we moved on. So this is why I'm doing this project. Kids don't even understand when we say what is beautiful about Blackness. They don't even understand what that means. Love. I mentioned this lyric and I mentioned how it shows love, that Beyonce was showing love for Africa and other Black people everywhere. Advocacy. I mentioned the title of this piece of art. I mentioned that it was created for Black men to show love and advocacy because Black men were dying and being murdered by police en masse, and it still hasn't ended, and we need justice. But this is a way that she was fighting back through song. Creativity. I mentioned the specific lyric, and it also came up in the Kahoot, right? So the lyric is, pandemic fly on the runway in my hazmat, chilling, running through the house to my art, all Black ancestors on the walls with the ghost chit chat. And note, we've done this activity before when I teach the Hamilton unit about rhyme scheme. I'm annotating the parts of the words, the line that rhymes. They know that this is an N rhyme. They also know that there's internal rhymes in here that connect with the N rhymes, just like Lin-Manuel Miranda did in Hamilton. On the Kahoot, I asked them what words did she rhyme with hazmat, and they did a great job. Knowledge, and now I'm making a connection to Mansa Musa, something that we've talked about him before, right? But I reference it again. Kids forget things. And I also mentioned that she mentions Mansa Musa in her rap. She is teaching us. So then we get to the Kahoot. I go to the slide, to the website, I show them the Kahoot code. They get on their laptop. Some of them still have their phones. They get on their phones and they play this Kahoot game with each other. And, you know, they get a winner at the end. If I was forward thinking, I would have given them a prize, like a piece of candy. That also always makes things more fun and engaging. But overall, that was my Black History Month project, my example to share with the kids, and also just to give them inspiration for what they were doing. And I want them to take it seriously. So if they come up there, and I say this, like, don't disrespect my people. Don't disrespect Americans. I'm going to be personally offended if you come up there with the Black History Month project. That's whack. So do the work and make it amazing. So teacher, I hope you had a wonderful February break. If that was you, I hope you had a wonderful February. If that wasn't you, if you were still working through the grind, we still have spring break coming up. I hope you have a wonderful day. Again, this is Diamond Emerald, a award-winning teacher, right? That AFT award, the Mary McLeod Bethune Award for Teacher Excellence. I guess it is kind of Black excellence too. But if you haven't seen that video, please check it out. That 4-minute speech, I think, will definitely inspire you and connect to the things that we've been through. And this week, I also got the NAACP Achievement Award for my work as well. And I'm so grateful to the Mid-Manhattan branch for giving me that award as well. And then hopefully I'll be able to upload some of what I talked about then as well. If not, I'll just make another video with some of the songs. And if you haven't purchased it yet, get the book, Teach Like a Diamond, Dynamic Teaching for Today's Teacher. It is for you, even if you're not an educator. I've had parents who read the book and said how much they appreciated just the life advice that's there. It's a beautiful read. There's gems at the end of each chapter, and it's what I continue to speak on. If you want me to come speak at your school and give PDs to your teachers, I'm also available. Check me out at diamondemerald.org. And overall, fear not, shine bright. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.